Welcome to CanBee Crafty Shop. I'm Carrie Causey, and today I'm introducing to you my full-sized chart keeper. I have another video on the mini chart keeper, so go watch that if you're interested in the mini. So here we go. The chart keeper is designed for your larger or at least longer charts. This would probably not do a wide shawl that has giant repeats and wings, but for any of your vertically oriented charts, this should work out for you. It has a 3D printed slide, and it's pretty stiff on here on purpose. It doesn't really slide well moving the whole thing at once because we don't want it to slide or move in your bag. So the way you move the slider is just by going underneath with your hands and giving a little pinch. And that little pinch moves it up, and you can very carefully control and move it very slowly. The chart I have in here right now is the Lua scarf. I was very pleased to be a test knitter. This is my second Lua scarf. It's only 35 stitches wide, and it blocks to a 9-inch scarf, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So I highly recommend checking out that pattern. I'll include the link below. So let me show you how to load the chart keeper. So it's got a piece of plexiglass on the top, and you'll just take your plexiglass out, and you can actually use the plexiglass as a template. When you print out your pattern, you just lay the plexiglass on, and you can tell your printer to enlarge or reduce the chart until it fits, and then you just trace around the outside and cut. I always cut a little bit inside the tracing so the paper won't be too tight. But anyway, once you've got your paper chart, you'll put it in through the slot at the top and hold it in place with your thumbs or fingers, and then put in your plexiglass on top of the paper. You'll need to do it this way to make sure that they can both make it into the slot at the back. And then you'll just move down the plexiglass and the chart, depending on how thick your paper is, or all kinds of small things. Sometimes they'll slide together, sometimes they'll slide separately. So if they don't want to slide together, you can just pull your chart down to where you want it with your thumbs, and then hold it in place while you slide the plexi over it. And there it is inside. There's a repeat counter, so you can see I'm on the 3rd repeat of my Lua scarf, and I'll just use this to track all the way to the top, click my repeat, and start over. The back has a ruler, a centimeters and inches ruler. It's got common chart symbols and some common bind offs, including Kitchener stitch at the bottom. So that will help you in all your project needs. Now, one of the biggest features that I wanted to include on this is the ability to hold the Doodle Deck cards. If you have done any color work at all, I'm sure you know about Pacific Knit Co. Doodle Decks. I will link. This is the Autumn Doodle card deck. She's not sponsoring me. Her stuff is amazing, and I wanted to make sure that anyone who likes to use her doodle decks could use them with this chart. So let me show you about those. And I also include a couple of extra features with this keeper to help even more. So you'll start out with your doodle card just like with a paper chart. You'll put it in part way. Now they are thicker because they're nice, thick, heavy playing card stock. So it's a little bit of a tighter fit than a piece of printed paper. So we'll get that lined up. It just holds 3, so the plexi and the card should be about the same distance at the bottom. Get those slid in, and once the card goes in past the back, just a smidge, then you can start feeding the next card in because the first card holds the space open. So then you can slide them both in. And again, it's a little bit tighter, but it goes. Once there's a little bit of a space, we can feed in a 3rd one. You might have to stand it up and give it a little push, but once the cards are inside, they're protected. They're just sliding. You're not hurting them at all. All right, so now I've got 3 charts in here, but you say how, let's see, there's a little space there I don't want. So I'm just gonna slide that down a little farther. There we go. And get them all down in there together. There we go. So what good is 3 charts if you can only track one at a time? Your chart keeper comes with 2 extra sliders. So if you want to chart 3 charts, I'm doing the Rhubarb and Custard Socks by Zanti Knits, and my daughter wanted a little fox at the bottom, and at the top she wants alternating foxes and pumpkins. And so I did a swatch for this already, and I put on my extra row keeper, and I followed a row for a fox and then a row for the pumpkin, and then I moved both up, and then I followed the fox, and then I was able to do the pumpkin. So to install your extra slider, I don't know how well this will come out on video, but I will try. You'll hold the bar down to the plexiglass. The 3D printing is pretty flexible. Let's see. There we go. And slide it over. And you'll just want to pop the inside corner down first. And then this will pop around the back. And then on the other side, inside corner first. And then around the back. And now you've got 2 sliders to track 2 charts. And again, they're snug, so they won't move away on you. And now you can go across one row of a doodle and then the next row of a doodle. And there are 3 of them, so you can track all 3. I will say putting these on and off does pull at the corners of the wood, so I wouldn't just pop them off all the time, you know, every day or anything. Eventually they'll wear the corners down. So if you're mostly going to use this for 3 charts, put them on. And if you want to use it for just 1 chart, you can slide your extras up to the top to get it out of the way. And if you have 3 on, you can put the other one down to the bottom and get it out of the way without actually taking it on and off all the time. But I've used this one multiple times with on and offs, and it's not too beat up yet. The other thing, well, I'll make a separate video for that. I want to give a demo video on putting together and using the stand for the chart keeper. It goes in 2 positions and can also lock your chart in place, and I want to show you how that works. You'll find that the stand comes with 2 cross supports. You don't really necessarily need both. You'll have 2 in case one breaks, or in case sometimes the wood is thinner than others, and I can't really control that, so you might want 2 braces if your chart stand seems a little bit looser. But in any case, you'll usually just slot in 1 or 2 of your cross pieces. Whoops, you do have to have both pieces going the same direction. There you go. Mine's pretty tight. It's not falling apart. So if yours is looser, you might want to put the back one in as well. So here, the chart can be used in a downward posture like this. And you'll just set your chart in the stand, pick it up, move your slides, set it back in the stand. That's really useful. In most cases, actually, this is a pretty good angle. But if your table is up higher and you are looking straight on, or if you have fluorescent lights that are coming in at the side, this may not be a good angle. You might want more of an upright angle like this. You just turn it over and set your chart in that way. Obviously, it's not very good for the camera angle, but it will just set in like that so you can view it more straight on instead of at an angle. And then the locking in feature that I designed is that if you want to, I was using it on a road trip and my chart kept jiggling out of my stand, and also it was sliding off my lap and off the dash, and it wasn't really, I wanted it to be one with the stand. And so I designed this stand so that if you lock it only at the bottom and leave this long back one out and push it down into the bottom, you can pull these apart from each other and push the chart back, and these edges will pop over the chart, the keeper itself, and keep it from falling out. So you just pull this out, push it down in, and then slot this in over the side. And now the chart and the keeper are locked together and it doesn't go anywhere. And in fact, using it this way adds a lot of structural support because it's really holding on to this nice thick chart keeper. So if you do have a looser chart stand and you don't like the way it is, you can just lock that sucker on there. So now you'll pick up the whole chart when you need to slide your slides along with the stand here. And you can use it again upright, or if you put it together with the sheep side down, you have to make sure that it's down in the slots at the bottom to make sure that it fits. And then you can pull these guys around. And then it can set this way. And this is the way I use it in the car. Because there's not a lock right here, this sits right over my leg and sort of holds on. And I find it works very, very well. So that is the stand for the chart keeper. So here is the chart keeper that holds 3 doodle charts and with all the extras that you need. And it, of course, will hold your regular long format charts. So I hope this is very helpful for you. Thanks for watching.